My name is Lynette Asanubi, and I'm a fifth-year student at the University of Georgia.
My name is Mary Fenwick Parrish. I'm a fifth-year student at the University of Georgia in landscape architecture.
And this video is about my landscape design theory.
And this film is about a treatise for landscape design.
But I'm going to tell you what I think my landscape design theories would be if I was in practice. And I feel like, first and foremost, I would like to design space for the way that people would actually use the space. Okay, so I'm only 22 years old.
And this is a treatise, verbally, about what the heck I'm doing.
Right now we are in Athens, Georgia, and I find cities to be very interesting because I think if you really want to see the character of a place, it lies in the city. I think it's a good mutual point to where you can see the very worst and the very best and see how that collaborates together and how that works to have a symbiotic kind of harmony to it.
I think it's important to reintegrate our built systems into what has existed into something entirely new. As a landscape architecture student, I've found that it is a profession based off a lot of different theories, and it prides itself in being multidisciplinary, which is a huge attraction to it as a job because you get to be both an ecologist and an artist and a sociologist.
The idea of knowing where people are at and truly understanding people and understanding what design can really impact people is very powerful. I think we have to be really innovative, and I think that's an important tool that we have to really understand what's going on, and we have to have really creative-minded people. Make sure that people feel like they are being represented not only in a public sense but in a very global sense, and the things you see. I want to make sure that people feel like they can they have some kind of bond to the landscape that they're living in.
You want to try to benefit over what society you're designing for, and wherever that place is, and the genius loci of the place, and the spirit of the place. That's what that means, and that's a common phrase that we've learned again and again and again. Where does all this theory lie when it comes into practice? And the practice either applies for public and private realms of different commission work, which can be commercial, institutional, public service, or private residential, and anything else that would fall in between on that spectrum of where landscape architects could be needed. Something that concerns me with landscape architecture today is that there isn't much opportunity to actually use the skills that we have the potential to use in terms of the types of projects that need to be put underway. And it takes almost lobbying from within the community to get any kind of movement going up any kind of political or social ladder that needs to in order to enact change that would be beneficial to everyone.
The landscape around them is not to the full potential of what I think it could be. I think landscape architecture could really be something powerful to people.
With an application of landscape architecture, I think what we can benefit from the most is realizing that we're part of this greater system of the world.
People are knowing about it, and the rate that it should be, people should be knowing about it, or the fact how big it's growing. I don't think people are really being impacted by that. And I'd like to use technology and use the skills I've learned in school to really be able to change what I've been seeing. Interested in how the media can influence landscape architecture, because at the end of the day I think that's how our youth is really learning things, and how we're really getting out there and seeing things is by by more so visuals now. And I really think that it's a way to help our profession out.
But I think where landscape architects are truly needed are in areas of what is already existing, an existing infrastructure, an existing built environments, and I'm thinking largely urban environments. I would say that when it comes down to supporting life as it exists now, I think the landscape architect can make it better in a way that we haven't really seen before, and in a way that cities could really and truly be brought back to life and regenerated as places of their own sustainable systems, and people can benefit from that.
To see the depth of this profession, I'm really interested to be around designers. I'm really interested in working with people. I'm really interested in working in groups. I really want to thrive off of being in a team of people who are very passionate about what they do and very serious about what they do.
And also, just as importantly, to create spaces where communities can thrive, because that's an important aspect of our culture that we need to make sure to foster. And where's all the theory for the landscape architect come into play? I think it hasn't really been implemented yet. I think that it takes a new generation to implement it where it is needed in those places.
And I would like to change the mindset that people have when you think of landscape, and when you think of design, and when you think of nature, and when you think of people.
I think word needs to be spread. I think word needs to be spread more widely that we can take the dirt back in our hands.
Because I think the idea of it sprouting into something beautiful is something that you can see not only in landscapes but in people.